How is everybody doing today? My name is Master Zero and welcome back to another reaction video. This time we're reacting to the breathtaking horror of the electric steak by Curious Archives. Alright, so first things first, huge shout out to Not Neep. I'm gonna call you Not Neep. I don't know quite how to pronounce you, but thank you so much for reminding me that like Curious Archives is the thing, you know? Like I do need help remembering a lot of stuff that I react to, you know? There's quite a bit of stuff and I keep adding on more and more Minecraft animations along with like more anime. I just love everything, okay? It's like I'm just fascinated with stuff. But onto the I'm so fascinated to just go back into the world of Curious Archives and like the way he narrates things. I just love it so much. And I do know that like for example, the Epic World of Serena, I think is what it was called. Like that wasn't his work, but he narrated what it was so perfectly, you know, like to where I was very fascinated in the world and I reacted to the entire freaking series of that thing. Like it fascinated me so much. So like this is just something special because like I'm a huge art buff, like, and I kind of knew what the electric state was. I had to look at the description because I was like, that seems very familiar. Like what's the electric state? But I did, like, when I was in art class in high school and stuff, my art teacher had this huge book of just like the America's art history, you know, and it was so fascinating to me. Like this one, it was like apocalyptic, kind of like the Fallout universe, but instead of like based on the 70s, it was based in the 90s, and you had like old school Coke logos everywhere and stuff like that, and like old school robot looking things. Like it was just really fascinating to me, and this intro is really, really long. I apologize, but I'm very fascinated. This is what I'm trying to say. So without any further ado, here is the breathtaking horror of the electric state. Oh yes. Going off strong.
The electric state.
These don't look familiar to me. The ones that look familiar to me are like the desert ones.
I don't know how else to describe it.
That's fair enough, man.
I could say it's an art book by the brilliant artist Simon Stålenhag that explores
that's how you say his last name.
Version of the United States in the late 90s.
It's beautiful, man. I love this art style.
I could say it's a story where a young woman.
Okay, a lot of these I haven't seen, man. I only seen like maybe 2 or 3.
Ruined landscape littered with the skeletons of terrifying machines.
Terrifying! This is so cool.
I could say it's a poignant warning of how runaway
jack yourself in, right?
Can have
not just your smart card.
Apocalyptic consequences. This, I believe, is true.
Not just the words he says, man.
Yet none of these descriptions tells the whole.
In a cryptic way.
So for this entry into the archive, I'll dive deep into this masterpiece of sci-fi world building.
I love it.
And like my video on Stålenhag's other series, Tales
very
from the
Disney-esque, especially the gloves.
The art book using the links in the description.
Art book.
Now,
okay, that one's terrifying.
The world of the electric state.
I'm good.
The electric state begins in 1997.
2 years after I was born.
A mysterious girl and a strange yellow robot venture across the Mojave Desert, moving towards their distant destination somewhere on the western coast.
Can't get enough of this kind of stuff.
The electric state is centered
it's
around
like almost normal, so close to being
nation,
normal, but
turning the narrative into a kind of apocalyptic road trip. This strange duo forms the emotional core of the art book. The beating heart of a world where everything is increasingly mechanical. On the side of a
descriptive
dusty
meter,
road
man. I love that.
Desert, clothes blow from the roof box of an empty sedan.
Oh, it just got worse.
Owners are now dried husks, still dressed in their vacation clothes. A portrait of a family vacation gone horribly awry. Virtual reality headsets called Neurocasters still cling to their heads. Likely the cause of their death.
You don't say.
Manufactured
going back to
by
that
the
one.
company Sentry.
That one is very morbid, like the one light shining.
Visual in the electric state.
Downright cryptic.
These face-swallowing devices were designed for military use, but soon became a common household item as people lost themselves within a blissful virtual
It's kind of like WALL-E, man. Mine's literally in arm's reach, like my VR headset.
Until too late.
It's coming, dude. Maybe not to this extreme, but
never took their headsets off.
Never know.
And would wither away into lifeless shells. Their mouths sometimes still moving as if trapped in a dream.
My God.
Starts behind the
Thank you for that.
My head is just getting tighter.
The concept of people losing themselves to a simulated nightmare is mirrored in David Cronenberg's Existence, a sci-fi horror film that, despite being released in 1999,
I don't know what this is, by the way.
Painfully modern. Like The Electric State, Existence is an unsettling meditation on how technology shapes and manipulates human beings, where virtual reality offers no salvation but oblivion. And in
My
the
man,
state,
I need to watch that. I don't care if it's 1999.
Quite literally
Peak comedy, comedy cinema.
The cause of the Neurocaster's malfunction
Dude,
is unknown.
They're literally like tombstones.
That
is crazy.
So many brains through the headsets, an
freaking imagery, man.
Intelligence emerged, a hive mind with an agenda of its own.
I feel clear-headed again.
Finding
Maybe
a car and
take it off every now and then, you know?
drive across California.
Intercept between what's reality and what's
the surreal
artificial.
Wreckage of a collapsing civilization.
I love that one. That was probably my favorite image I saw
rise from the sand
that I knew was
like
from this.
bizarre monuments, their bodies riddled with impacts from large caliber rounds.
I would like to see the
region
bullet.
Was once some kind of shooting range,
Freaking
although
size.
it has long been abandoned.
See what I mean, man? It was like, it's like Fallout, but in the 90s. It's so freaking cool.
A giant mascot erodes away into a metal skeleton. Its pained expression frozen in a permanent smile
with his description,
the devastation surrounding it.
Definitely
How
makes
the
it more horror.
Reached its resting place is left ambiguous, although the framing of the image makes it seem like this machine walked here on its own.
Oh, that's so cool.
In a dusty town,
I noticed there was multiple ones
people,
though. Maybe two,
another
maybe
machine
three.
Sits in silence.
That
its
one's
body
crazy.
A nightmare of tangled wires. There's a fascinating incongruity.
And like every single one of these things has a story, you know? Like he was saying, did he walk there?
A fundamental incompatibility that evokes a strange sense of loneliness.
Definitely.
Yet at the same time, there is something
it's like
undeniably
you're tangled with the thing that gives you life, you know?
And cartoonish machines that seem to appear more and more frequently as the girl and robot creep ever closer to their destination.
Where is their destination, though? That's what I want to know.
Stollenhag proves himself an expert in the uncanny.
Dude, that's for
machines
damn
just
sure.
abnormal enough to instill uneasiness. Where these
Do a
machines
fantastic
came
job.
from and what they truly are is a mystery that can only be solved by venturing deeper into the electric state.
Wherever you are this summer,
Oh man.
it's a very cool place.
That Scream 90s.
Advertisements also loom large over the electric state. In one snapshot from
big.
this post-apocalyptic road trip, an immense inflatable
I do notice,
sun
like,
smiles
there's still
and throws
some
up a peace
civilization
sign
and
in
stuff.
bitterly amusing dissonance to the end of the world.
Okay.
In another, a giant
That's
heart-shaped
dope.
mascot rusts
It's like
under the
Borderlands, dude.
California sun, promoting financial solutions for people with terminal conditions. The macabre juxtaposition between the upbeat marketing and grim subject matter is a repeating
And then with
motif
just that
throughout
shit-eating grin,
Stollenhag's
man.
Illustrations of
I see what he's doing with,
a
man.
reflection
Like I
of
said
a
before, man, the
culture that
imagery.
pretended everything was fine until it was too late.
Until it wasn't.
On a passing billboard, a slogan proudly proclaims that Neurocasters win both design awards and wars, showing that warfare is seen as just another opportunity for marketing. And given the devastation
that's so
the
true, though.
Neurocasters
Like, the
caused,
world we
there's
live
a
in
grim,
today,
unspoken
especially
implication
America,
that this
man.
advertisement would have been taken down if there were anyone left to do so.
Yeah.
Where the electrical grid still functions, gargantuan towers of
It's like
corporate
right-
logos
or
overshadow
is it in the
homes
residential
of
area?
residential neighborhoods.
Thank you.
These literal monuments to suffocating commercialism cut through the fog, with Stollenhag's
God, you
exceptional
see the old school
eye for
logos too, man.
atmospheric lighting making the scene particularly melancholy. Cities like this echo
Hey,
the
yeah,
visuals of
Blade Runner.
sci-fi films like Blade Runner, whose iconic setting is similarly
This is a
awash
Coca-Cola
with neon
thing.
light from skyscraper-sized advertisements.
God, that's such an iconic imagery, man.
There's an undeniable familiarity to these striking visuals. The invasive billboards of the
Well, it would
electric
make 'em
state
worse
in
if they
Blade
were
Runner
cameras.
are exaggerations, but not by much. Across the US, how many landscapes are clogged with a mismatch of commercial signs?
Dude, this is
How many
crazy.
major cities
It's like literally
overload
like,
the
here's our
senses with a
reality,
blur
here's
of
the artwork.
fluorescent
Like,
advertisements.
Dangerously
The
close,
United
man.
States that the electric state
Oh.
depicts is a nation seen through a cracked lens, where the specifics are distorted, but the overall impression remains uncomfortably close to reality.
That was the perfect.
One piece of media
Detailed
that can
expression
help us
of what
better
it was, man.
understand the electric state's relationship to reality is the sci-fi pixel art game Norco. Released by indie
you see me looking at the
developer
corners, I'm
Raw
looking to see what it
Fury in
is.
2022, the melancholy point-and-click adventure
I
takes
love
place
melancholy
in an
things.
alternate version of Norco, Louisiana,
Oh.
where advancements in robotics and industry have created a land
Yeah,
of
I'm good.
desolation and alienation. The urban sprawl of real-world Norco
That kind of looks like where I grew up.
by the petroleum industry and has twice experienced
huge
catastrophic
refinery.
explosions, events that the game feels in painful conversation with. There are moments where the pixel art fades into live-action
They're not
footage
table
of the
or
region,
food
blurring the line between fiction
spoon
and
feeding
reality.
you. They're stuffing that
Like the
information down your
Electric
throat,
State,
making you pay
Norco's
attention.
vision is both
I respect that.
unfamiliar and recognizable. A long-lost acquaintance you come to recognize the more you speak with them.
That's pretty cool, man.
This advanced
Oh, and we're back.
technology helps to diagnose arthritis. But to effectively relieve the minor
Why are you being all
pain of
disordered, my man?
arthritis, use this.
Oh.
As the girl and robot
the ghost
continue
in
their journey,
Destiny.
they spot crowds of people wandering through
Oh, I didn't even
fields,
see
the red glow of their neurocasters like giant, unblinking eyes.
Yeah, they
These
do look
silent
like.
masses
Oh
seem
my
to no
god.
longer have a will of their own, having themselves become drones piloted by a mysterious intelligence. In the mists of the
So they're
western
zombies.
coast, they work to
Artificially
assemble
controlled
a disturbing
zombies.
new class of machines. Glimpses
I
of these
hate that one,
monstrous
man.
mechanical beings appear throughout
Hiya.
the electric state.
Hate
In
you.
one piece, a smiling face peers out from the darkness of an abandoned
see it,
barn.
yes.
Something about the image pulls you in, making you curious.
You're the one
about
pulling
what the
me in, my
rest of
man.
the
Please stop.
creature looks like.
I'm good.
Later in the electric state, we get a better look at these incomprehensible beings.
I know I've
A
seen this
titanic
before,
drone
but I never
looms
actually,
over a
like,
parking lot.
detailed
Its
look
face
at
and
it.
raised arms scavenged from an old advertisement animatronic.
Fingers.
Bundles of
I don't like
cables
that.
pour from its head like the tentacles of an octopus, spilling down to the ground. A crowd
Oh.
of Neurocaster-controlled onlookers
Oh, that's a car for
watch the
scale, thank you.
tentacles slither across the asphalt and into a parked minivan, witnesses to some dark ritual.
Really?
While these monsters of wire and steel
That is
are
so freaking
nightmarish,
cool. Look,
there is
yeah,
a quiet
nightmarish.
awe that some
Took the
of
words
these
right out of my
pieces
mouth.
evoke, like wandering into the
It's
forest and
making me all
coming face
feel
to
weird,
face
man. I
with
hate
a
that.
gigantic animal. Witnessing these beings can instill a kind of dark wonder in the viewer. The
It
term
does.
eldritch comes to mind,
Elaborate.
a word used to describe something otherworldly or incomprehensible.
Okay, yeah,
In this
100% that.
regard, these
Siren Head?
beings are reminiscent of the unfathomably vast,
Oh, The Mist,
shambling
okay.
terrors glimpsed in films like The Mist, which instill a similar
Except this is
mix
more
of
like
dread and
creature-esque.
wonder.
The things we're talking about now are like mechanical.
Stallenhog also experiments with
Ah,
light
that-
and condensation in many
How
of
are they
these
alive,
scenes,
though?
creating portraits
They're
that feel like
hooked
you're
up,
looking
so-
through the rain-soaked window of a car. The blurred light
That is
imbues
beautiful.
these otherwise unsettling scenes with a kind of nostalgia.
How they're just
bringing
out of
you back
like
to a
focus,
time
dude.
spent looking out
Duh.
the car window as a child.
Yeah, such a way
watching
with
the world
imagery, man.
distort through droplets of rain. In scenes like these, it almost seems like if you shut your eyes, the apocalyptic devastation will fade away. A massive Neurocaster
God,
network
dude.
tower casts red
And like his
light
world,
into
like
the
all these
fog
pictures,
a
they're
grim
consistent.
lighthouse,
Like it's the
making
same
this
design
region
and stuff. I
feel all
love
the
that,
more
dude.
like a gothic nightmare. Yet perhaps even more notably, this section of the Electric State is set within Marin County, California, the same region as the 1995 sci-fi horror film Village of the Damned.
Dude, he's put a lot of stuff into
Directed
this.
by John Carpenter, the film tells the story of a group
I also
of
don't know
creepy
this.
children with
That's all I need to
creepier
know.
haircuts who are connected to each other via a hive
If I don't style my
mind.
hair, man, mine kind of
A
looks like that.
remake of a 1960 movie of the same name.
Okay.
Both stories explore the loss
Everything's
of
just a remake,
humanity
isn't
to
it?
a collective intelligence. A concept
for
that is
1960, that's
similarly
dope.
central to the Electric State.
Your family could take advantage of this exciting new world.
No, I'm good, actually. No.
The mechanical
son said a
infection
retractable
in
awning.
the Electric State takes another, less perceptible form.
I like
Yellow
that.
service robots waddle
Oh,
across
service.
the roads as the girl and robot
2219
drive
from, Monsters,
onwards,
Inc.?
hauling massive cable rollers. These machines
Oh!
spread a dark network
need
of
them.
signal
Yes,
wires
okay, that
across
makes
the
a lot of
United
sense.
States, connecting more and more regions to the
This guy thought of
Neurocaster
everything.
hive mind. In the snowy mountains, massive spherical buildings serve as local hubs
Okay.
for the Neurocaster network. Their
Make that thing a
sides
teddy
are
bear, we got a
plastered
Fortnite
with advertisements.
map.
Millions of interconnected minds bounce around inside each hub, the power required to keep them trapped in a digital fantasy melting the snow.
Dude, when
While
you put the
Neurocasters
words
never
into that,
flooded the consumer
is
market in
beautiful.
our timeline, There was another network.
It's like the mood changes drastically as he
became massively widespread in the mid-90s.
The net can entertain you, transport you to far-off locations, help your children with their schoolwork, and make working at home easier.
But we use it for memes!
The internet and the Neurocaster network reflect each other, with both connecting people in incredible ways.
So
and leading
if you
to
use a portable
serious
one, you're just
unforeseen
stuck there forever?
consequences. When viewed through the lens of the internet,
you don't have enough
the dark
willpower, I guess?
network of the electric state feels uncomfortably familiar, with stories of people losing themselves to a blissful oblivion and becoming dependent on a digital
like I
net
said before,
taking
man,
on
it
new
is borderline reality. That's what's kind of scary about it. Yay! And
At
then cut to
various
this.
points in the electric state, the girl and the robot make rest stops much like one
Kinda like
would
Pinocchio,
on
in a
any
way.
normal road trip.
And the Last of Us
Like
Pinocchio situation.
real-world liminal spaces, these near-empty parking lots and motels have an unsettling quality.
Of course,
is hard
that's
to
free. That's
place.
#1 on the
There's
menu,
a
isn't
sense
it?
of time crawling to a stop
I
in
love
these
the old school.
illustrations,
All the
which don't
logos and
require
stuff, man.
mechanical monsters to be unnerving. Yet these narrative breaks also give the storyline a chance to breathe and deepen the viewer's understanding of the protagonist.
Oh, let's keep building that narrative,
the more
man.
you follow the girl and the robot on their journey, the more you empathize with their characters. Stalinhog does an
There he is.
outstanding job using the minimal
Damn
text
straight he
and
does.
subtle visual cues to demonstrate the bond the two have, as the world around
A picture's
them
worth
becomes
1,000 words, man.
increasingly
Quite
dangerous.
literally.
In one of the most memorable
Is that
points
a
of
crater?
the voyage, the girl and robot drive past a forgotten war memorial. A hillside ravaged by bombs emerges from the clouds.
Found out who shot the
Two
ducks, I
gargantuan
guess.
military vessels simply called drones sit in silent vigil atop the hill.
Oh, drone
a
sweet
class
home.
of
Drone.
machines that
I cannot
played
say
a
that.
huge role in the backstory of the electric state. While in the
Like, something
present of the
so
electric
significant
state,
as a
drones are
war
little
is
more
taking
than
place in the
bloated
back
metal
burner.
carcasses.
That is
These
beautiful.
machines once spearheaded the nation's military. In a nameless war, these unmanned vessels
God,
fought
I
each
need to stop
other
saying
in a
I love the
strategy
imagery,
game
but-
played out over 7 years. Though the drone
is
technology
beautiful.
was praised for preventing meaningless loss of life, the collateral damage was catastrophic, not just in terms of civilian
Have
casualties,
you looked around
but in
the
terms
electric
of
state?
unforeseen technological
Popo?
consequences.
They still be
For
Popo.
the drones were controlled by pilots wearing Sentry headsets, with the war spurring the invention of the Neurocaster technology that would eventually go on to doom the
Of
nation
course,
it was
yeah.
supposed to protect. It's difficult to convey the sheer
Speak
power
of the devil.
that Stalin's
Looks like a gorilla.
art gives these machines,
Gorillas.
which feel so enormous they become part of the landscape, looming in the distance
Or, like,
artificial
they replace the
mountains.
mountains.
In one image, a drone seems to have been converted into a makeshift dwelling, with a Californian flag and string of laundry hung from its side.
Oh, I didn't even see the laundry.
Once trophies of victory, these colossal wrecks are now bitter
Don't believe the
consolation
hoax.
prizes. A painful reminder
I love
that
graffiti.
though the nation won on one
48, is that
front,
Jimmy John's?
the triumph came at the price of losing everything to a mechanical nightmare.
That's ridiculous, man.
There is another
I'm
narrative hidden
very
within the
fascinated
electric
that there's
state.
actual real
Running
people.
Parallel to the story of the girl and the robot is a fragmented storyline of a mysterious agent who seems to be headed towards the same location.
Do
While their true
tell.
mission doesn't
What?
come to light until the final pages of the electric state, the agent is a source of constant tension, as they seem to be on a collision course with our protagonists.
I love everything about this. Oh my
In the
god,
last
that is
stretch of
tension
the
building.
Electric state, the girl and the robot arrive at an overgrown childhood suburb that has fallen to ruin. In this final section,
Again,
less
very
and less
descriptive.
text accompanies the images, with the breathtaking scenes speaking for themselves.
Oh, I love
On the
that.
side of the road, two
I hate
figures
that.
shamble through the night like nocturnal animals towards the warm light of a distant window. At this point of the electric
not
state,
human
it's difficult to
anymore.
tell if they're people wearing neurocasters
Yeah.
or entirely mechanical beings. Bird-like drones called scrappers
Yeah, they
pick
look
through the
new.
remains
They don't
of
look
this
like people.
coastal wasteland, laden with
Bud
bags
Light
and
cans and
bundles
stuff.
of cables.
Dude, that's so cool.
These artificial vultures work tirelessly to collect mechanical parts, perhaps for themselves, or perhaps for something else. Above
Got
the
it.
overgrown lawns of decaying houses, more colossal beings stand in silence, their dominion over this region absolute. In these suburbs where families once lived, machines are now born from twisted, giant fetuses. There's a sense in these images that the plague of machines has become a critical infection, and nothing will ever be the same.
Oh, dude, worded.
Yet the
the way he words it.
More than just
It's
a
crazy.
story about hopelessness. Even at its darkest moments, there is always a faint glimmer of humanity, a spark of compassion kept alive by its two lead characters. And everything builds to a resolution that I found at once both
That's the puppet and Innard from Five Nights at Freddy's. You cannot tell me otherwise.
Established throughout the rest of the volume. While I don't think I should give away all the specifics,
please don't.
of the
No,
Electric
just
State's
sprinkling
final
this information,
pages,
man. I love it.
If you'd like to know more, you can
damn
check
right
out
I
the
do.
book for yourself.
100%, man. I am.
The Electric State is quite literally a story that's as much about the journey.
You didn't spoil it right there, did you?
Destination. What at first seems like an almost alien world over time develops into something uncomfortably familiar. As the parallels between the Electric State's timeline and our own become more and more apparent.
Man, dude.
Like Simon Stålenhag's other most well-known work, Tales from the Loop, it is a haunting, poignant book that pulls you deeper
that's
into
one of
its
my
atmospheric
favorite right there,
depths
man.
The more you read,
the imagery
and
alone
stays with you long after the pages end.
He did Tales from the Loop.
If you found this world
that
as
one too.
interesting
That one's
as
so
I
good.
do, you can purchase
I think he's
the
just
art
doing
book
my
using
my
the
favorite
links below
images
to get the full story. And follow Simon Stålenhag on
best
social
believe
media.
I'm gonna look at the whole story, man. That is
As always,
so beautiful.
Thanks for watching.
Thank
If
you for
enjoyed
doing
this
it.
entry, please lend your support by liking, subscribing, and hitting the notification
Always
icon
do.
to stay up to date on all things curious. See you in the next video.
God, dude, everything about that. So perfect. Alright, man, that was so freaking beautiful, like, from start to finish. I love that so much. And, like, the thing with Curious Archives is, like, I was kind of assuming it was gonna be because he did such a fantastic job with the Epic World of Serena, you know? Like, the way he says things and just describes things, like, he is such a good narrator. And, like, you have this image, and it's just literally an image, and, like, there could be, like, no wording behind it and stuff, and he could explain it in ways that I didn't know, or I didn't look at before. And then, like, him describing what he thinks it is changes my understanding of what I'm looking at, which it still has like my core base belief of what I saw, but then his is sprinkled in there too. You know, it happened like probably the entire time I watched this thing, you know, like it was so freaking enjoyable. And like, yes, I'm definitely gonna pick up this book, man. It was just so freaking awesome. And like, it was crazy, like me in high school, like that's like coming on 10 years now. Oh my god, graduated 10 years ago. But anyway, like coming on 10 years now, man, that book I saw of just these little pictures, I never would have thought like later on down the 10 years later, I would see a video that re-sparked my interest in this artwork, man. Like, this is an amazing thing just to have, like, I don't know, I'm just babbling too much right here. Like, the video's gone on long enough, I'm gonna end it here. But man, fantastic job. I've enjoyed myself watching this video, like, pretty much the entire time, like, straight up the entire time. I don't know why I said pretty much. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. Leave a like down below, subscribe, ring the bell, become a member, you get videos a day early, and check out the merch. So with that said, I have been Master Zero. Y'all guys have been fantastic, and I'll see y'all in the next episode. Later days.